851, turn right heading 180. Order 14 Papa, turn right 245, report localizer established.
Welcome to Sydney Airport. That's my 777 that I'll be jumping on board very soon. Before this flight, I was on board QF402. You can see it on the channel as the latest upload. If you are interested, you can also listen to the DJ's Aviation podcast if you'd like to hear a more detailed experience, including the private escort through the terminal and being scammed on a taxi ride. Sydney Airport was busier than in this footage, however this footage is from another report highlighting the airport. Unfortunately, I could not capture footage due to almost missing my flight, so this is the best I can do to show you what the Sydney Airport international departures is truly like. A reminder that I am still flying during the pandemic, and while not in most places, masks are mandatory when flying and moving through Sydney Airport. Past security, there's a lot of duty-free on offer, not to my personal taste, but there's definitely some cool things like this kangaroo, and for a lot of people it will be appealing to know there's a lot of alcohol on hand. Various news agencies are available, your one-stop shop for snacks, magazines, drinks, and really anything essential to your international journey. Arriving at my gate as boarding commences just in time. This is where I will be departing from, and this is my Boeing 777 that I'll be flying on today. It wears the older Air Canada scheme, as this aircraft has been yet to update it in the newer colours. Today, I'm flying on board AC34 from Sydney through to Vancouver. This is also my first flight on board a wide-body with Air Canada, so I'm certainly intrigued, yet skeptical at just what will be on offer. I'm seated towards the back end of the plane, which means I'm taking the jet bridge to the right, as the one to the left takes you to the upper classes. However, it doesn't mean that just because I'm taking the other jet bridge, I don't have a long walk ahead of me, as you will be seeing. I am anaphylactic, and that means I do carry an EpiPen, so you'll see I have some priority boarding to wipe down my seat. Now, onto the aircraft in question. This is a 777-300ER in a 3-class layout. As specified, it's layout 1 for long-range services. It features 40 flatbed seats in business class with the new product, 24 reclining premium economy seats, and behind the premium economy we have a staggering, wait for it, 336 economy seats. The economy runs from rows 18 all the way through to 64. Your premium classes, as you'd expect for most aircraft other than your A380, are towards the front end of the cabin. My seat today, however, in case you were interested and wanted to book the exact same one, is indeed 52K. But before I do get to that seat, I want you to admire more of just how many rows of economy we have on this Air Canada Boeing 777. 52K is indeed also a window seat. The seat features your routine IFE, or in-flight entertainment. Legroom I found was okay. I'm not the tallest person in the world, but compared to Qantas, which runs the same routing, it certainly felt more cramped on board the Air Canada. The weather's terrible, so I'm thankful to be here, but a shout out must go to all the ground handlers who get these aircraft ready, whether it's snowing, hailing, the sun is shining, and much more. The tray table is just your typical tray table. It's not the biggest, but it does work at the end of the day. On top of this, regarding the amenities that are provided, upon boarding the aircraft, you are provided with indeed a pillow, which is essential for long-haul journeys. In addition, you are given a blanket, which definitely helps with the cool air conditioning. In the seat back pocket, you have the Air Canada safety card. Of course, I'm flying on the 777, and you do have the sick bag if you need to use it. I was one of the first to get on board the aircraft, however, as you can see, it's still pretty empty. Below the seat, we have the adapter ports, and this is to charge your larger devices. Below the IFE to the left, we have the headphone jack to listen to the in-flight entertainment, and of course the USB to power some devices. Air Canada's IFE is available in a host of languages. For me though, it's English. Air Canada has a somewhat responsive IFE on these Boeing 777s. I'm still very excited for the day when every IFE has rapid response times, but at the end of the day, it's pretty hard to complain when you can watch movies and more in the air for your long journey. At the moment, we're taking a look at their flight tracking system, which again is everything you'd want and probably more in a flight tracking system. This is a Shemin 787 Dreamliner pulling into the gate at Sydney Airport. Take a look at those splendid reflections due to the weather. Blinkist powers this flight review. Blinkist is the best way for you to discover and understand powerful ideas in just 15 minutes. I especially loved The Flight, a 13-minute read in both audio and text form. The Flight is a gripping encounter about Charles Lindbergh's solo flight across the Atlantic from New York to Paris. Playing this in audio format means I can continue to do daily tasks while learning. However, it does not just stop at aviation content. With an aesthetically pleasing website, there's a lot of knowledge all at your fingertips, and there's something for everyone. And in a day and age where we don't have weeks to read books and learn, their bite-sized format allows for you to understand powerful ideas in 15 minutes. With more than 5,000 titles, you can begin learning in just 4 easy steps. Download the app, select the titles, add them to your library, and sign up for an account. If you like this, click the link in the description for a exclusive offer for viewers of the channel. You'll get a free 7-day trial and 25% off the Blinkist Premium membership. For those flying in business class, the menu for this flight is available on the in-flight entertainment system. This is not what I'll be personally served, but it is the best taste, quite literally, for you guys on what you'll be getting on this 15-hour journey. Is there something you'd pick specifically? Let me know down below. In addition to that, you're able to see the menu for purchasing goods. As for the IFE, well, there's a host of new releases on offer, perfect if you haven't had the chance recently to go to the movies. Meanwhile, in addition to all these new releases, you do have an area in the IFE labelled as TV. Now that is perfect for your box sets. This being an almost 15-hour journey, you can definitely see why someone may dive into the TV series over a movie and try and knock through a whole series on the flight. In addition to the TV series, there is a helpful kids area which has a bunch of kids games, and on top of that, kids movies and TV series. So if you are traveling with younger children, it's definitely handy to have this. The flight does have Wi-Fi, however I would advise you against spending your money as it failed to work for more than 10 seconds at a time for me. Arrival info, Wi-Fi, games, flight map, protection information and more were also very easily accessible from the home screen. Pushback on this aircraft for this flight was indeed an hour later than expected. This was due to an engineering issue on the aircraft, my second engineering issue across my 2 flights already during this journey to Canada. Flying in May, Australian borders though are now open and the industry's rebound in Australia is coming. So here's a Qantas 787 and A380 readying for flights, something a year ago that would not have been present as these aircraft would have been grounded. Today I'm also travelling with an AirTag for the first time. You can find out more why that came in handy in a podcast of mine. Taxiing does offer some excellent views of aircraft parked at the stand, including an Asiana Airlines A330, China Airlines A350, and all the way in the back, that's the world's largest passenger plane, the Emirates A380. Now, however, I'll be quiet and let you enjoy the GE90 spool up and takeoff out of Sydney. Shortly after takeoff, we were provided with earphones to connect to the IFE, and in addition to that, we were given a clean care kit. As we are still flying amid a pandemic, even if restrictions have been eased, this is something that is still provided by the Canadian airline. In the package, you can find firstly a note from the Chief Medical Officer just explaining how they're dealing with the pandemic at the moment. Alongside that, we have some hand sanitizer. To the left, there's 2 hand wipes. And finally, we have a fresh mask, which actually comes in handy, and it even comes with a lovely maple leaf in the top right or top left corner of the mask. An excellent detail if there ever was to be one for a mask. I was served for lunch a beef and quinoa dish with a bread roll, cake and salad, and also some fresh water. This meal was actually very, very nice. As expected, almost every airline's cabins do have mood lighting. Unfortunately, on this flight, the mood lighting colors changed quite frequently, alongside the lighting itself. It was very, very confusing when I was trying to actually get some rest, with seemingly every hour either the lights coming back on, dimming, going completely dark, or the mood lighting constantly being adjusted. You're able to see across these few clips just how much it did change across the 15-hour flight. A lot of these mood lighting changes only happened in the first couple of hours. After lunch, we were served a Tim Tam and chicken Caesar salad roll. This was more towards dinner, I guess you could say. The chicken Caesar roll was very nice. I then did try to catch some sleep, but made sure to wake up in time to catch the beautiful sunrise, one of the best things about flying. As the sun was coming up, breakfast was served. It was waffles, although it definitely wasn't the best. I probably should have opted for the eggs, if I'm honest. This is odd for me, as I do usually really like airline food, but this meal was not the best. As you can see, we're now inching closer and closer to Vancouver as the sun does rise. Our estimated arrival time into Vancouver is just after 7 AM, which, considering we had an hour delay out of Sydney, is quite a good result still. In addition, on the IFE flight tracking system, you have your metric and imperial numbers, and personally, it's a feature I use quite frequently. As we do approach and subsequently land into Vancouver, I wanted to recap my experience flying long haul on Air Canada to the city. It was an interesting one, to say the least. With a similar price point to Qantas and having flown the same route with Qantas 2 months prior, I did actually compare in my head the two quite frequently, and I can honestly say, in my own opinion, that Qantas exceeded Air Canada in every aspect. And if you know my dealings with Qantas, you'll also know that that says a lot. From the overall comfort to the legroom to the food and to the staff, Qantas just put on a more pleasant and worth my money experience, if that makes sense. As best described on my Twitter, I wanted to love this experience with Air Canada, as Canada does hold a close place in my heart, and naturally, them being the flag carrier, it does mean something to me, but at not one single point did it grab me in as an experience. That being said, it was still a pleasure to be flying, and a seat is still a seat. I'm more than fortunate and grateful to be even in an opportunity to fly on board this aircraft, and it's something one cannot take for granted. I do hope you enjoyed joining me on board this Air Canada 777 service from Sydney to Vancouver. What I would leave you on is by simply saying, if you had the opportunity to fly this route, I would probably take Qantas if you're after a more comfortable experience. In saying that, if you need any sort of customer support, go with Air Canada, because you can definitely forget it if you're going to be flying Qantas. Stay tuned, because this is not the end of my journey. Tomorrow you'll be catching me on board an Air Canada A319 in business class from Vancouver to Calgary, and that was certainly an interesting experience to document.